Hi guys! Welcome to my YouTube channel, Doc Chessy Network. Last week, ang pinag-usapan natin ay ang paggamit ng to whom it may concern sa pagsusulat ng letter. So ngayon, ang pag-uusapan naman natin ay ang pagsusulat ng memo. To be specific, ito ay ang paggamit ng to or for, and then yung paggamit ng through doon sa inyong memo. But before we go to the details, let me explain first to you the part of the memo wherein you can find this to or for line and the through line. Ito ay makikita sa tinatawag na memo heading. But what is memo heading? Ang memo heading, yan nagbibigay ng overview sa reader ng content at para malaman din ng reader kung para sa kanya ba talaga yung memo. Meron niyang four major parts, no? Yung memo heading. The first part is the to line, and then we have the from line, and then we have the date line, and then lastly we have the subject line. So the to line is the recipient of your memo. The from line is the sender, no, of the memo. And then the date line, dyan makikita naman yung date kung kailan nirelease yung memo. And then lastly, yun namang subject line, dyan makikita kung ano yung topic ng memo. Meron ding ilang mga minor parts ang memo heading. And the first of this is the CC line, no? Itong CC line, dito makikita yung pangalan ng mga secondary readers. And then we have the through line, no? Pag sinabi namang through line, dito naman makikita yung pangalan ng mga intermediate officers, no? Sa pagitan ng sender at ng receiver. So halimbawa, ang receiver ay ang president ng kumpanya at ikaw naman ay ang manager. So, ang inyong possible na nakalagay sa through line ay yung pwedeng vice president, no? So, siya yung intermediate officer, no, between the sender and the receiver. Now that we know the parts, let's focus now on our topic for today, which is the use of to or for in the to line. But let me explain to you first kung ano ba yung to, no? Yung preposition na to. Yung to na preposition is a preposition that suggests movement or direction. So example, Peter went to the market. The second example naman is Jake delivered the gifts to his friend. So, sa recipient ng memo, ang default talaga na kailangan gamitin ay ang to. Okay? Pero maaring yung iba sa inyo magtanong, bakit yung iba gumagamit ng for? Ang paliwanag nila dyan sa paggamit ng for is they use for if the recipient of the memo is someone who holds a higher position than they are, no? So yung recipient ay may mas mataas na posisyon kaysa sa sender. So in those cases, diyan gumagamit ang iba ng preposition for. At ginagamit naman nila yung preposition na to if the recipient of the memo ay kanilang subordinates or kanilang colleagues, no? Although it sounds logical, this practice is not really generally accepted, no? Technically, yung preposition for kasi ang ibig sabihin niyan, it is something beneficial or it's related to purpose or related to goal or related to reason. So pag ang ginamit ninyo ay yung preposition for, there's a possibility that there will be a mismatch, no? Doon sa paggamit ng preposition at saka doon sa intention ng memo. Kaya to be on a safer side, mas kailangan gamitin talaga sa to line yung preposition na to. Kaya nga siya tinawag na to line, ang gagamitin mo doon na preposition ay yung preposition na to regardless of the position of the recipient. Pero tingnan nyo din yung culture and format of your organization. No? Because if your organization dictates a certain format, then you just have to follow the format given to you by your organization. However, you can also make suggestions if you want to rectify some of the formats that your company is using. Now, let's go to the use of short through and long through. So first, we have to define what a through line is. So a through line is used, as I've explained a while back, it is used when there is an intermediate officer between the sender and the receiver who has a higher position. When you use through kasi, it shows that you follow protocol and you are respectful to your immediate superiors. No? Pinapakita nyo din na wala kayong tinatago sa inyong superior, especially if the content of the memo is job-related. Typically, ang nilalagay natin sa through line ay 1 to 2 persons only. No? At pag in-arrange nyo yung through line, you start first with the person with a higher position. And then, of course, yung sunod doon, yung mas mababang position. No? Kung meron namang halimbawa, 3 or 4 na posibleng ilagay sa through line, probably what you can do is to place the other 2 doon na lang sa CC line para hindi naman masyadong mahaba yung inyong through line. Unfortunately, no, based on my observation, mas marami yung gumagamit nung short through, yung THRU. I really don't know why, pero sa dalawa, mas tama ang paggamit nung long through instead of using the short through. Bakit? Ano ang pagkakaiba ng dalawa? No? Yung through na short, yung THRU, informal yan because it's a clipped word. Yun namang long through, yan ay yung formal version nung short through. And you have to remember that memos and letters are formal business documents. Therefore, it requires formal language. So kung siya ay formal document and it requires formal language, then what you have to use in your document is through the long version. No? Huwag tayong gagamit nung clip word na THRU. No? Because there will be a mismatch between the language that you use and then the documents that you are writing. So the next time that you use the through line, you really have to spell it out. Okay? So to summarize, no, number 1, you really have to use 2 instead of 4 because the use of 4 is not really generally accepted yet. No? Siguro once it is accepted by the industry, by the corporate world, no, and by the professional community, then that's the time that you can use the preposition for. And then secondly, you have to use the long through rather than the short through because as I've explained a while back, yung letters and memos ay formal business documents na nagre-require ng formal language. Therefore, you have to use the long version of through. So you really have to stop using the short version through. Okay, so that's all, friends. See you next time. For more writing tips, feel free to subscribe to this channel. Bye-bye.